Well, hello everybody. It's Real Talk with the Pimpcron, and today our discussion is how can you be the flexiest of all flex boys in Warhammer? How much would it cost for you to become the premium, most elite wargamer with the best material, the best equipment, the best looking army? Everybody loves to go on and on and on about, oh, how to save money. I'll buy this combat patrol, buy this, start collecting. No, screw that, right? Let's see how much it would actually cost if you really went balls to the wall on your armies. Now, I'm talking about rolling up in style, dressing in style, transporting your army in style, having a stylish army, have the best and most expensive of everything. How much could you spend if money was not an option? Now, you know it's tax season here, at least in the US, and a lot of you are getting checks coming back to you in tax returns. So let's say you're due for a big tax return. Okay, let's say you got a big promotion at work or a big bonus, or let's say maybe you're looking at all your kids and you're looking and you're going, you know what? I don't think we need a college fund. Well, you can liquidate that now and use it to be the flashiest of all flashy wargamers. Now, with everything, okay, you have to be. I tried to stay within reason. This segment actually took quite a bit of research, and it's all obviously estimations, right? The same points in Custodes is going to be different than the same points in, let's say, Orcs. When it comes to the models cost, the commission cost, all of that, it's just going to be different. So I had to try to make as many averages, find as many different sources for these costs, and basically come up with whatever the cost of generally the premium option for everything. Okay, but the things that I found may very well amuse you. I sure hope they do. So let's say, with this newfound flashiness that you've decided to pursue, let's say that you want to start a completely new army. Now, generally speaking, and of course these prices are going up constantly, generally speaking, a 2,000 point army in 40k or AOS is generally going to cost you about $800. All right. That might include some start collectings. That might include in some units that you want to buy yourself, whatever, about 800 bucks. Okay. Now, if you want to have those professionally commissioned, what I found is like a middle of the road commission price is about twice the price of the model. Okay. So if you if you paid $800 for that army, it would cost you about $1,600 to have the whole army painted very middle of the road, painted well, better than tabletop, but not professionally, you know, artistically painted, let's say. Now, if you are actually looking for like top of the line, top of the line. I'm an idiot. Top of the line commission painting, you're looking at 4 times the model price. And that does actually scale fairly well because single models, like let's say a Riptide, is going to cost a lot more than a Space Marine, but it's also going to cost a lot more for the commission as well. So let's say about 4 times for a top of the line professional paint job. So you've got 800 bucks in your army. You've got $3,200 in the professional paint job, but boy, oh boy, is it beautiful. You got your money out of it. Now, what flashy army is complete without custom bases, custom resin bases, okay? It kind of doesn't matter. Could be ruins, could be cities, could be skulls, could be whatever you want. But generally speaking, custom bases for any size is about 20% the cost of the model, vaguely, okay? So that would be about $160 for custom made bases. Now, what flashy wargamer would be caught dead without custom nameplates on the back of every single one of their bases? I did quite a bit of looking around, and one of the premier nameplate companies was about 10% of the model cost, okay? And that turned out to be about $80 for the entire army to be nameplated, okay? So you can type in, it's like 20 characters max, and you can get full rings, or you can get thin little things that glue on the back, whatever. So you've got a brand new army, 2,000 points. You've got it professionally top of the line painted. You've got custom resin bases, and you've got custom nameplates for all of your, Sergeant McAssface or whatever you want to call them. It's probably going to be dumb names, but it's going to be fun. And most of all, everybody's going to go, wow, look at that guy. He's got a lot of money, which of course is the whole point of this whole segment. Am I right? All right. So, why would you spend all this money and not arrive in style? Right? So, you've spent all this money on your army and you're ready to play and all that, but you're not really the full picture. Am I right? So, generally speaking, a nice modern suit and shoes is going to run you about $650 if you really, really want to look sharp. And that's not even the most ridiculously priced. I mean, that's what experts supposedly say online. You take that with a grain of salt if you want, but that's what the experts say, okay? Now, I'm not actually going to include that price because that doesn't really contribute to your army, but if you in case you're wondering, and in case you're really using this as a guide because you just have piles of cash, you're a regular Walter White. I'm not going to ask you how you got your money, but you really just want to blow it to look like the coolest wargamer, then about 650 bucks you can get a very nice suit, whole kit, and the shoes. Okay. Not including that in the total price though. But you still have to arrive in style. Even if it's not the clothes on your back, even if it's not your car or something like that, you need a deluxe army transport. Now, I'm not talking about your Sabal army transport. I'm not talking about your battle foam. Oh, no, no. Only the best for your hugely expensive army. Okay. So I found a custom transport company that makes foam pluck transports for really all manner of things. They're actually used by scientists, they're used by the military, they're used by a ton of different industries. And the reason why is because they come with a long, long list of features. Now, let me just read you some of these features, okay? By the way, it's a $661 transport, but it would hold probably two full armies. But whatever, you want in style, right? Your guys got to have elbow room. You can't have these guys transported close to each other. You got to have a little jacuzzi in the corner for them. I mean, maybe you could put your books in one half of it, okay? But it comes with a ton of stuff for $661. If I can direct your attention to this $661 Pelican transport, I assure you it will meet all of your needs for wargaming. This $661 transport is watertight. It's crush proof. It's dust proof. It's a 5-piece foam set. Easy open double throw latches. Oh, not those chintzy single throw latches. Double throw latches, my friend. And fold down handles. Open cell core with solid wall design, strong and lightweight. Stainless steel hardware and padlock protectors that are also stainless steel, might I remind you. Automatic pressure equalization valve balances interior pressure, but it keeps water out. Now, that's very important for your plastic army. Not to mention, it's got an O ring seal around the lid, causing it to be watertight. Now, I know the thing that you're complaining about. I know the next thing on your mind, the tip of your tongue. It's right there. You're getting ready to write me an email about it. Pimpcron, what about humidity in my transport? Well, Pelican Transport's got you covered. Optional humidity gauge changes color above 40% humidity, letting you know when your guys are getting a little sweaty in there. And finally, optionally, you can get a manual pressure equalization valve and personalized nameplate service. So, I also want to mention it's an overmolded rubber case. I don't know what overmolded is, but I assure you it's the finest you can get. This is so stupid. So you roll up in your business suit. You've got your army in the fantastic, pretty much indestructible army case, trusted by millions, even used by scientists in the Arctic, is what their website said. So trust me, your models are safe, kid. Okay? You got them professionally painted, you got your custom base, you got your custom nameplate, you're wearing your fancy suit, got new shoes on, right? Everybody's super impressed. And that's when you pull out your astigmat tape measure. Now you're thinking, it's a tape measure. What's the big deal, Pimpcron? Well, this is a $64 tape measure I want to mention. It's actually 65, 64.99. $65 this tape measure is a 3-in-1 digital laser tape measure. Okay. It's a 16-foot tape measure with a digital screen on top of it. Get this. It also has a Pythagorean mode. Yes, yes, a Pythagorean mode for measuring triangles, I assume, right? A bunch of geometry it'll do for you. But also it does regular tape measuring. It's got a real tape measure on it, but the fanciest thing about this is that it's got a laser tape measure. So what you do is you set this next to your model and you point the laser light at the other model or wherever you need to go, and you know if you'll make that charge. You can actually tip it and it will tell you how far whatever you're pointing at is away from your tape measure. So, this is actually kind of cool, and this is almost one of the things I was actually tempted to actually buy. I'm not buying a $650 suit set, but $65 laser rangefinder is actually pretty cool. And if that isn't charged or whatever, because it doesn't need to be charged. But even if that dies, I mean, you still have the Pythagorean mode for crying out loud. Am I right? And you also have a regular tape measure. So, this is actually pretty neat, though. The laser rangefinder is going to mark line of sight between models, right? You're going to be able to tip it so that you can find how far you can move without actually sticking a tape measure out, which is pretty cool. You'll be able to know how far your charge is by simply shining a light on the base of the other model. That is pretty freaking cool, actually. Now, what about dice? Well, Games Workshop sells a lot of expensive dice, and Chessex are pretty cheap, but there's several different companies that make expensive dice. Well, what if I'm actually giving you four options here? I wanted to go absolutely ridiculous and say, what if you wanted solid gold D6s? It may not be as expensive as you think, but it probably is. So, how much do you think a 36, because that's the standard, right? It's a Chessex cube, a 36 count solid gold D6 set? It's $4,600, but you can buy it. That's the amazing part. If you've got an extra 4,600 coming to you, you need to get this solid gold dice set. But I am not liable if you get robbed, because you probably will get robbed. And this, everybody loses a dice now and then. This is going to be a dice set that you're going to be pissed when a dice rolls under the refrigerator, because it's nearly worth more than the refrigerator. Now, if you want to be a little more reasonable, let's say you're a little frugal, okay? Solid silver dice 36 set is $2,700, not $4,600 like the gold. And then if you wanted a solid titanium 36 set is $702. I mean, now you're getting a little more. I mean, this is still absurd, clearly, but you're getting a little more reasonable. Now, the one thing that I actually did look at, and I know this is kind of silly, for a 40 count, because they don't sell them in 36, a 40 count of solid steel dice that are milled is $100. And I mean, honestly, they're probably pretty cool. And that might be something that, I don't know, if I really, really wanted to spend money on something, I might buy. Now I spent like 60 or $80 a long time ago on solid milled aluminum dice. And they were like $60 or something. Now it's probably more now because of inflation and all that, but they are still pretty cool. I still like them. They're pretty neat. Of course, I did lose one of them, right? I bought 36 and now I have 35 of them. Go freaking figure. But for the purposes of this, let's say that you're going with the steel dice just to make an entrance, but you're not going so crazy that you're going to buy the gold dice, okay? So, how much would it be to completely arrive in style and be the most extra wargamer anybody has ever met? Can I get a drum roll or something? For the cool sum of $5,066, you too can be the next wargamer to have a 2,000 point army, fully assembled, fully professionally painted to the highest standard with custom bases and nameplates. You're rocking it up in your 600 and some dollar Pelican transport that you could leave out in the Arctic for 10 years, come back, your army's still fine, okay? And don't forget your solid steel dice and your fancy schmancy laser rangefinder tape measure. $5,066. Okay, well, thank you to GameAt.eu for supporting the show as always, and panhandle3d.etsy.com. Thank you for supporting the show, and also my beautiful, sexy, scrumptious, slightly crispy Patreon patrons. I love you all. See you next week.